Welcome everyone to Hearthstone Lobby Legends Magic of Azeroth. After a stunning day yesterday with plenty of diverse matches, lots of different comps, and fantastic play from all 16 of our players, we've cut the field in half down to 8 to play it down in one lobby today, all the way through until we crown our champion. And to help us make our way through the muck and mire, see clearly all the action that is going on, it's Lorinda joining me on the casting desk. How did you enjoy yesterday's action, my man?
It was great. I'm absolutely loving the quest. I'm definitely well known for clearing up all situations, by the way, not making them murkier and muddier. Thanks for that. But yeah, yesterday was fantastic. Got a good look at many different comps. I think we're realizing that as of now, there is no sort of dominant comp that you go for from turn one, or no dominant card like Greasebot or anything that you're just looking for and then you win the lobby if you get it. It's looking really good, and it's going to test these players today. And I hope that whoever wins pops off like Kid 5 does in that intro, because why wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully not at the hands of a Leroy bug this time as well, with that being still a very impressive victory nonetheless. But take a look at the tournament overview that we have. We started the weekend with 16 Battlegrounds players. We cut that in half down to 8 today. And the big difference, of course, that I'm very excited to get to cast for the first time is the check format that we are playing here, which I think is just the real secret sauce that makes these Lobby Legends tournaments pop for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this time around, it's going to be even more important because you really do have the option to do things differently if you really need that win, if you don't think you're going to get it done, whatever. You have the choice to take a quest that is maybe too hard. Maybe it's a bad MMR quest, but occasionally will pop off and win you the lobby. And there's going to be real decisions to be made. If you've got 20 points, do you want to take a sensible quest and maybe win the lobby anyway because of tempo that you get? Or do you just want to go, you know what? If I complete this really stupidly hard quest, I will win the lobby and I'm going to risk it. So looking forward to the latter stages of today when players have to make those choices.
Indeed. Cannot wait to see how the more daring, temerarious players, if I may, will do well in the check format to get those wins. Because as you say, a lot of our players playing very safe yesterday, taking those third, fourth places, which is not going to be enough today, as we need to see those very bold strategies coming through. Which, like you say, it does feel like it's coming more from the quests than the minion types or the heroes that you are going for necessarily, which for me is a real breath of fresh air, really spicing up the metagame. And the big thing that players, I think, are maybe not talking about enough, or I'm starting to see come up more and more, is that the high armor heroes, the traditionally weaker heroes, are moving up drastically in the pick rate because you get easier quest completion, which is just a lot of the time far more important. But in terms of what our players are playing for in all of these lobbies, it's not about finishing in the top half of the lobby anymore as it was yesterday, even though the point distribution is the same. It's about trying to boost yourself up to that 20-point threshold and then get yourself a win, taking down the whole lobby. And so at that point, you are allowed slightly more, like you said, MMR safe strategies, right? Where you're just trying to get a solid finish, finishing, fourth, third, something like that. You do that a few lobbies in a row, and you're very happily moving up towards 20 points.
Yeah, you're looking to get your 20 points in 4 lobbies, ideally. If you're not there in 5 lobbies, you are really taking a risk. So somebody will get there in 4. Average of 5 points per lobby. Someone will win a couple of lobbies or come a first and a second, make it easy for themselves. But if you're not there, you give them one chance, get there on lobby 5. If you're not there by then, there's just too many people shooting to get it. Like, somebody's going to get it by lobby 6 or 7. You really have got to get your skates on to get to those 20 points, to have a shot at this money. And it's worth having a shot at it, because the person who gets the win when they already have 20 points will get that first place and $10,000. You can have 30 points, but if you keep coming second, you only get second place overall. And that's just how check's going to work to make it far more exciting. It means that you go out winning the tournament with somebody who won the lobby, which I think makes it really, really interesting.
Oh yeah, definitely makes it more exciting. And the prize pool creeping up relatively consistently, $500, $500,000 each place, but then the big jump that you have up into first place, which we really love to see, because then again, that gives you the extra prize money. But probably more importantly to a lot of our players who are streamers and content creators in their own right, getting that victory, being able to call themselves a Lobby Legends champion is worth its weight in gold to go and gloat to all your adoring fans, which will be cool to see for our players who are left in with a big streaming following, who are a few of them.
Always a big fan of fairly flat price structures. It's still pretty different. Yeah, by the time you get from first down to 16th, there's a massive difference, but something that sort of creeps up slowly on you. Massive bonus for winning to encourage people to go after that check format prize, of course, but after that, I'm a big fan of everyone who gets here gets a decent chunk of money to go home with, because that will give people the chance to do it again and again and come back for more. So, big fan of that rather than giving it all to one person. Here's some action from yesterday. Some assorted moments. And the thing I think we'll see from this, having not seen this video, is likely just the variety of stuff on offer at the end of some of these games.
That's right, yeah. We saw Rim Gosu and River Pusa, two of the top Korean streamers, taking down the lobby, which I'm sure a lot of our viewers, or well, maybe not watching this broadcast, but a lot of people watching Lobby Legends were very happy to see. And like you said, the Naga strategy, taking it down one time, and then a kind of like mech divine shield almost getting there, but the combination of cooked books and mirror turning out to be a really potent combo, one that I hadn't actually seen work in that exact style before we transitioned over to Staff of Origination taking down the lobby with the Tarragosas as well, which is such a cool one to see.
Yeah, and something that we did see overnight, talking of that double quest combo, is that overnight before the first day, Denathrius was actually made better. So a lot of the things I said didn't apply, where they actually made the first quest the same as normal quests, which wasn't the deal to start with.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Denathrius has been buffed. Well, was buffed on Friday night before planned Saturday. So some of those quests did look a bit easy. I was wondering if they'd put it down, and they had. I really should have noticed that and mentioned it, but it wasn't announced until yesterday evening what they're doing.
It's your fault, Lorinda. You should.
I mean, I should have noticed. I've got quite a lot of data on quests, and I knew that Denathrius' first quest was harder. I just hadn't realised it had come down, so I'm annoyed at myself, really, as much as anything.
Yeah, me too, Lorinda. The fact that you did more work, but not more work, does make pathetic in my estimation. Truly embarrassing.
We'll try harder, man. We'll try.
Yeah. But as we saw there, we got a good rundown of all the victories that were taken down in the previous lobbies. Winners of lobbies not necessarily making it all the way through, though, as we did see on day 2, right, once we got to that point. Who was it? Eastleaf, right? After taking down the first lobby, unable to clutch it out as he lost the subsequent 2 lobbies, which is always a heartbreaker to see when you take down the first one and then you're feeling on cloud 9. You're thinking, surely this is just unlosable at this point. But then everything quickly tumbles by the wayside, which is the drama that we love to see. No one is ever truly safe, especially, as we said, in this check format, because even if you are in the last place position with 0 points after 5 rounds of play, it's still winnable. If you just win every lobby, you're going to get there eventually. You just have to keep doing so, which for our more daring players, as I said, could be a chance for them to get the job done. But with that all said and done, the stage being set, Lorinda, are there any strategies that you are hoping to see today in terms of the quests or the win conditions that you're partial to that we maybe didn't see yesterday from these lobby of players?
Strategies, no. I think we saw a lot of things going on that we can expect. I think maybe we see some APM go off. We didn't really see much APM happen. Always exciting to watch somebody just go through 1 million cards in a turn like a Millhouse. I don't think did we see a single Gallywix played? Like, that's a hero I'd like to see picked. Somebody picked a Yogg over one in game 1, which for me is an iffy pick. I don't like to argue with players miles better than me, but that seemed unusual. I think the Gallywix with quests is just a really, really good hero because you can complete so many things. You buy a lot of things in a turn, get the death rattle things you need, get the taunts you need, whatever you need to do. I'd like to see that happen, but I just want to see more Wisdom Balls because that one was quite boring apart from the Tox fins it offered, I think.
Yeah, Wisdom Ball is always a good one. But as we can see here, good selection of players. For me, I think the standout for a player that I wasn't all too familiar with, but was very impressed by, was Sesese yesterday. I really liked his play style overall, and I think showed good meta understanding, fairly risky plays, but always bringing it back to just decent finishes throughout the weekend. Whereas, of course, there'll be plenty of fan favorites as well. As we said, Ringosu, Ribapusa coming back for a second attempt at taking down the victory here now after narrowly missing out on it last time. And then, of course, a lot of our European fans also cheering for Zixo, I'm sure, to finally take down one of these big tournaments again. It's been a while for our boy.
Yeah, it really has been nice to see Zixo do well. Ribapusa, just to add to that, because I did sort of go on about XQN having done it yesterday, has reached the second stage at least of every single lobby legend. So you get top 16 on ladder, you get to the first stage, then you play a lobby, get in the top 4, you get to the second stage, top 4 again, get to the finals. He has reached the second stage of that every single time. So top 4 to the initial lobby every single time. So he's extremely well versed in lobby legends. He's played 43 lobby legends lobbies since the start of it, which is possibly the highest. It's one of the highest for sure. Dappy may have played more, but yeah. Just having a scan through some really boring stats there for you. Also, Zixo has been here before, Ribapusa has been here before, as you mentioned, and Alex has been here before, and Sesese has been here before, so 4 return players. And I think you mentioned Sesese. He looked really comfortable here yesterday. He looked like he was just having a good time, seeing what happened, played some Battlegrounds. And that attitude usually gets you a long way in competitive play because you're so laid back, you're just having fun.
Also been told, speaking of Ribapusa, that apparently made a golden Murloc on turn 1. As Reno in the test game. Who knows? Maybe he'll employ that in the actual tournament. You never know.
Yep, cheers for that, Sottle. Thought I was giving highly useful information. Sottle's trying to outdo me for the first time in his career. He'll get there one day.
He will indeed. But as we were saying, we are going to be looking carefully at the different styles of play of our competitors, the risk versus reward that we talk about here quite consistently. We've talked a lot about the early ways that you can go for third places, right? Where you can just go for these high tempo quests that are easy to complete, look for Dancing Daryl as much as possible as well. What are the early indicators that you're looking for in this metagame that you actually have the ability to go for a first place? What like signposts along the way indicate you this could be a lobby winner?
Decent easy quest, or just easy quest, honestly. It doesn't have to be particularly decent. Just complete your quest first. Get yourself to Tavern 6 is one of the ways to do it. Just have good early rolls. Just have good hero quest synergy. Like if your hero and quest work together, there's so many, I'm not going to list any, but there's so many ways that can turn out. You look at that and go, hang on. Yeah, I'm fine here. Let's just not die for 2 or 3 turns and I should be able to rock it up. Or again, with anything, just some good early shops. Let's get going. And again, getting to tier 6 isn't that important in terms of MMR gain, in terms of doing well. But if it's, I'm in check and I want to win the lobby, getting to tier 6 becomes suddenly a lot more important. You can just, while everyone else is fiddling around on tiers 3 and 4 completing their quest, you can get to 6 and just start buying the fell bats and stuff that you need, depending exactly what you need. And I think that's the sign that you are going to get there if you can just race ahead, not really be scared for a couple of turns.
Yeah, that is fair. But it's interesting, right? Because the most ambitious use of your gold, generally, like you say, is to level up to 6 and start finding these real powerhouse units and taking a bunch of damage, but locking out the game once you hit that point. Now it feels like with quests, that's not necessarily the case anymore. Like a lot of the winning synergistic cards feel a little bit lower down the Tavern tier. Like obviously Baron Rivendare is going to be coming up very often on Tavern tier 5. You then of course have the Parrot that's going to synergize very nicely with that, all the way down on 3 a lot of the time. If you can get Stolen Gold to go alongside that, or Parasol in order to boost up that strat with the Trickster as well. Like these are very common things that you're seeing. And then, you know, if you're going Beasts very often, 5 is enough. Like you say, Mechs, maybe you need to go to 6 in order to get there. Is like the one time that you're looking to really boost up to 6. But Murloc spamming poisons, that often doesn't need to be there as well. And given that we're seeing this very common prevalence of either death rattle strategies, as I was talking about, or a bunch of divine shields with selflesses, glow scales, Amber Guardian in there as well with Taragosa perhaps. There's a lot actually going on, I think, on these lower tavern tiers that can win you a lobby, which hasn't always been the case.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. So, yeah, I agree that those things do win lobbies and are often going to. I'm not so sure you always know you're going to in that situation. Like, you just get there, you start doing your thing, and suddenly you're in front. It's like, oh, wow. So those people may not get the early signs they're going to win until the comp is complete. Like, get a really big amalgam, suddenly you give it some poison, some divine shield, and off you go. Seems to be seeing fewer Leroys over the last couple of days. I think everyone's so busy scrambling to make their own comp and their own big stuff, they haven't got time to counter their opponents. Until we get to the last 2, then it's Leroy, Leroy, Queen, Queen.
Yeah, it's kind of
completing staff of origination. That's a sign you're going to win a lobby.
That's another big one, yeah. But
just complete that and off you go.
Get that with Taragosa and you're absolutely laughing. But the kind of the trail of breadcrumbs for Leroy becoming a little bit less powerful is like, you know, players are playing a lot of divine shields, right? So we're seeing a lot of tunnel blasters knocking around, which makes it a little bit scarier. And then you can obviously counteract that with the Uther, but players are going to 6 a little bit less often, so Uther becomes less of a player, and so therefore Leroy stops being as much of a possibility. Whereas, having said all that, Leroy would actually be quite good against all of these divine shield comps, but again, the Tunnel Blaster kind of counteracts that, which is interesting to see. Obviously, it's going to need to be the case of... oh, sorry, just being told is how the lobby is starting. Yeah, obviously the case of which minion types you're going to be seeing in the lobby, which I'm going to be keeping a close eye on here, because we've seen the beasts pop up being very powerful as we expected, mechs as well, but still looking for some of these more support minion types that we hope to see that could come up pretty clutch. As we see here, Alex with Bran, Murloc's in the lobby. Are we tempted?
I don't know. Silas is so much free stuff. Zyrella's so much free stuff. N'Zoth has so much synergy with Beast, but Beasts aren't in. That'll be a bit of a turn-off, I think, here. Pick what you like here. I think Silas is the safe pick here. I think Zyrella might be a bit more of a gambly pick for me, but Bran also very interesting.
I mean, I'm an Insta-Bran gamer. I love Murlocs, man. It's like easily my favorite minion type to play. But like you said,
you play Rogue in Standard. Of course, you love Murlocs.
I get to play lots of cards. That's what I do. As we do see the Silas being picked in the end, Denathrius and Murloc Holmes insta-snap picked as we expected, and with 5 Ellies or demons or 3 battle cry minions. That red hand with just right in the middle, perfectly put in center frame, the Celemental, that looks pretty strong.
Yeah, let's do this. You've got to do this. Like, red hand, a little bit difficult sometimes to do well with, but look at this start. You can't turn this down. Yeah. And again, seeing the easier builds as well coming in for Denathrius on that first quest. Red hand, sort of a neutral quest to a large degree. I think it might be very, very slightly tougher than normal, but it's one of the more average quests, and getting that at turn 1, you can get that going. Oh my god, it's going to be huge.
All right, let's see if our old pal Murloc Holmes can solve the mystery going into turn 2. It is against AFK, so it's a bit of an easy mystery to solve here. Not one of Doyle's greatest stories, I will admit.
Yes. Room with no people in it and no corpse. Like, nobody.
No one. There was no crime. My God, Watson.
Yeah, the one crime that Watson actually... Oh, my... He's done it. He's done
it already? Oh, my God. No shot. As the poor spectator tries to mouse over the bugged Denathrius quest. There we go. Okay. He's got it done anyway.
Yeah, the whole Murloc Holmes thing about this one is which pixel do you click? Solve the crime and unlock the secret passage that tells you what's going on.
Unfortunate anti-synergy, of course, because Red Hand not doing anything this turn.
Oh no, I hate it when Red Hand doesn't proc on turn 2.
Although I did actually get the other day Spectre plus Red Hand, so it puts a card in your hand at the start of each turn and then buffs it, which was 6 synergy. That felt great, because on the first turn I accidentally didn't leave a minion for Red Hand and then got bailed out anyway. But here we go. AFK finally coming online, and double Taragosa does open up some pretty spicy options. Are there any staff gamers in the chat?
Oh, it'd be amazing. And again, SSA just enjoying himself, and I love to see that in all competitive play. As long as you're still playing at your best, it's so much easier to play when you're relaxed. I think he might be one of the favourites to do this.
And, you know, all jokes aside, there are actually a few quests that synergize with this, right? We have Staff of Origination, #1. The golden, Stolen Gold, sorry, is huge as well to golden these up very nicely. You can make a lot of stuff work.
Yeah, Taragosa seems to be an interesting minion now. I think it's just got so many bits and pieces that make it work compared to what it used to have. You know, over time, you can build it into a decent minion in its own right, even without necessarily the huge amount of help it used to have to get. No staff.
Yeah. An Adri Mayhem I'm not really feeling with these. You got a couple Divine Shields in the shop, but, you know, that's only with Selfless. That's not got much synergy overall.
How do you feel about the bribe? You're taking dragons anyway? Okay, yeah, he bails in the Parasol.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't blame him.
Nice shop overall. You know, he gets to buy and sell the Gambler, get a couple of Selfless Heroes in order to give permanent Divine Shields to the Taragosa, which is a very, very big deal. Here on Crag, we've got...
Bribe with...
Could go Anima Bribe. Yeah, you already have a Scallywag, which means more minions are going to be dying a little bit more quickly.
These all look expensive and difficult relative to what you want at the moment.
Like, I don't know. I feel like Devil's in the details. This is totally coming from a new perspective, but I think it's a little bit underrated in what it does. Like, it can give you some pretty
decent,
consistent buffage, right, just to keep up in the mid game, even if it doesn't necessarily give you a strong direction that you want to be pointing your overall game plan at.
No, I like Devils. It's just very hard. By 9 is going to take a while, and that's the problem here, I think.
That's fair.
But maybe I'm wrong. I mean, he is on Crag. He's going to have a lot of gold in a couple of turns' time when he chooses to activate. So that turn he'll complete. Maybe he factored that in. And maybe going into his 9 gold turn, we'll have a lot going on there. Zixo seems to be cobbling together any old rubbish on Maiev, which usually means there's a triple locked in.
I don't think there was, actually, from what I saw there. He had like a couple dragons, couple murlocs, bit of this, bit of that. But yeah, nothing really going all too well right now. As we see, taking a look through the quests on our spreadsheet here, 3 players on Parasol, as we see very often indeed. Rimgosu on Cooked Books. That's pretty exciting, can lead to some cool games. And Ribapusa on Snicker Snacks. At the end of your turn, 2 friendly minions trigger their battle cries, which can end up being pretty spicy. Zixo does hit that triple that you were just talking about.
Yeah, and he has also completed, obviously, you see the quest there already locked in, so has taken a huge amount of damage, but should be able to get out of it. Like, buffing up this Swampy on the right to have some attack and a huge amount of health should be enough for him to get through a couple of fights, but I think he's working out how far he wants to go here with this triple.
He wants to level here, right? This is a clean level if you were at any more health. But down at 22, it gets scary. Our boy Zixo, though, is brave, if nothing else. Foolhardy, one could say, as there's a real good shot that he ends up below that threshold of 15 on this turn, relying, as you said, on the Swampy to keep him alive.
But he did chicken out of the ultimate play there, which was to lock in the triple and start like a madman and just hope to take a 6. That's what he wanted to do. That's what everybody wants to do in Battlegrounds when you see that situation. But yeah, deciding to bail and just get on with his life, I think, is fair.
However, because of the quest completion a little bit earlier, it looks like he's going to be able to survive this one comfortably. And stabilizing at 22, you know, that gives you 1, maybe 2 unfortunate losses against a spiking opponent, which is okay for the moment. He can make this work.
Okay, let's have a look. Vivapusa first real look.
Oh, 2 triples?
Oh.
Okay. He's been weak for a while, but, you know, he is still at 39 health. He could juice this for another turn, theoretically, if he wants
Is he
to.
on 39? Yeah.
Like, you're going to start taking a lot of damage, but would you ever consider, like, nothing this turn, and then the next turn, level, sell the Elemental, and then sell the Imprisoner? And buy?
Yeah, absolutely. He's also on summon. He's got to summon 12, so he's going to complete his quest, which is the battle cry thing.
That's
if he can get a decent battle cry off. What battle cry? He hadn't got any battle cries in play. That was a problem for him. So maybe he needs to slow down. Meanwhile, Zigzo.
Razorgore, just because he had a couple dragons on the board? Or are we taking Lil Rag and trying to start scale?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I'm a Lil Rag fan, but I suspect Razorgore is the pick for a good player. I would take Lil Rag here in a heartbeat and just go for it, but that's why I end up dying a lot. Yeah, I get it.
Not something that he's especially happy to see, though, as this is just, you know, a 6-8, an 8-10. It's fine. It'll hopefully keep him alive for a little bit longer, but it's not the lobby buster he was hoping for. As Rivapusa doing exactly what we were talking about, I think. Looking for some 6 drops here as he does go up against Zigzo, who is going to absolutely blast him out of this game.
Absolutely, but this is the synergy we were talking about earlier at the start. You've got Greybell with a quest of summon more minions. Like, that's the sort of synergy you're looking for in your quest. It might sound obvious, but it makes such a difference to have that sort of thing going on, so you don't have to go out of your way to complete your quest. It just sort of happens. That's the sort of stuff that allows you to make those aggressive tierings. Whereas if your quest is just nothing to do with your hero, you do tend to have to stay down on 3 or 4. And like you said at the start of the show, that's not a disaster. It's just not as good as being on 6, because if you get there naturally, that's great. Here we go, though.
All right, what are we looking at? Let's see some triples. Man, triples all over the board. Murloc Holmes, Denathrius, everybody hitting those big triples. Crag as well. Okay, we're going to have to take a tour around the lobby as, unfortunately, Rivapusa, after building us up, is the one player that's taken the longest of all to do anything here.
We are going to see 2 triples here, surely. You can take 15 this turn. Who cares?
All right,
yeah,
come on.
We'll go to show some of the others.
Alicia San with, Imp Mama plus Golden Mind Muck in hand? That's strong.
That's huge. I love it. It's a bit early for a Mantid. I don't see a dragon on the board. I want this Mama. Like, Mantid Queen sort of is a 2-for-1 your big thing, or guarantee to kill your big thing card, right, later on. You want to be the person with the big things at the start of the game. You can pick up a Mantid later. You're on 5. You're going to have no trouble getting to 6 and picking up Mantids if you get late on.
Wow, interesting. Okay.
Ooh.
I mean, it's already very strong.
Obviously.
That's obviously very, very nice. With the Scallywag, we'll gobble that up.
Now, do you want to freeze this for the Khadgar and go full Exodia? Surely not, but it was there.
Yeah, I think it's a little too shaky. As we see, not a bad set of triples, right?
Yeah, not at all. But this is the turn he was fearing, but you know, whatever, really. It's fine.
Very nice tempo is the big thing, like not necessarily scaling, but that's fine. For Rivapusa here, he can just rely on these big minions, start to find battle cries to synergize with this Snickersnacks hero power, like Mind Muck in order to buff this Imp Mama. I don't know, maybe some of the pirates.
A jug or something. Just
yeah, a jug, a Reef Explorer, like anything to start creating some more value as well. As it's a cool 15 to Alex, who is the first player to enter the danger zone.
yeah. Primal Fin Lookout's also a really good card to have if you get the battle cry. Just sit there, chilling, get some Murlocs every turn, get some free stuff. See where that goes later.
Golden with Taragosa.
His triple. They're all getting so many triples now.
Ooh, not great here, right?
No.
What are we actually looking for? Obviously, Mantid.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess Nadina would be pretty good for permanent Divine Shield. Eliza, yeah, like you say, for permanent buffs on the Taragosa.
Like, a lot of the time here, you'd take the Genie just for the money. but on 19 health. You haven't got long
Right.
for that money to sort of take effect.
Yeah, these all suck. It feels like it kind of always sucks now. I rarely feel happy to see it.
One thing that Genie's got a little bit better in some ways because of the buff to Gar, and also because you can get Rag on 5, so it's not like a disaster like it used to be. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's not like it was when it first got released, when it was rather good.
Even though there's some obvious synergy here available for SSA with the double Trickster and the Golden Taragosa, it's all flimsy. It might not hit the Taragosa. He might not survive up until that point. He's at 19 health and looks pretty weak on the board. And speaking of pretty weak, Alex JP down at 10 health, looking to stabilize on this turn while keeping the Crackling in hand in order to get the buff with Red Hand. But he's up against a pretty sizable board on the other side.
Yeah, it turns out that Denathrius is an absolute nightmare. Who knew that was going to happen after completing quests on turn 2, huh?
As long as he can kill off Pip, he's going to survive, though, which he is guaranteed to. Okay. One final lifeline. I think he was expecting, should he die, for it all to just be over. But he's got a last chance, as Zixo does as well, taking a full 15 down to 1. We now have 3 players in that danger zone.
Yeah, this has been a brutal lobby, and something we've seen today. This is a sample size of 1 I'm going to comment on. But I think that with players getting more used to completing quests more naturally, it's giving them time to concentrate on getting triples and stuff like you're supposed to. That makes any sense at all. Whereas when the opening days is like, oh, how do I complete my quest? God, this is an awkward thing to do. Now we're just like, I've completed my quest while steering towards my triples.
Okay, Zixo going all in on the Murlocs after having missed, you know, Bran, some of the other more powerful cards to go alongside this. But Toxfin, fantastic card to get off Tad to boost your damage quite substantially, which is maybe a little bit lacking at this point for him. And then Gold Swolfin into, I don't know, Bran again, as I said.
Worth noting, he's buffed that Stomp Striker every turn, possibly with 1 or 2 exceptions, but basically every turn since he completed. Exactly with this in mind. You've now got a 41 health poison minion. He knew this was coming later. That'll be why he did this exact play.
And if you needed to stabilize at 1 health, Murazond into Mantid is a fantastic way to do so.
Yeah. And keeping the moves on there.
Yep, for the extra chance at more procs, get that Divine Shield.
Whatever. Yeah.
Hero Power something? Yeah, that'll do.
Oh, that's pretty decent. What's he against? Oh, he's against the AFK who was struggling, right?
Big Taragosa, though. Clearly, SSA was able to hit some of those Trickster death rattles on the Taragosa.
All about the poison, really.
Yeah, that'll do it. Huge win for Zixo there. Absolutely enormous.
Yeah, and the people on low health here surviving, I mean, they might be able to turn it around, especially in Zixo's case, but surviving to get those extra points is massive.
How does everyone survive? No way. Oh, this is so sick. I mean, there's a clear divide now, right, between top 3 and everyone else, where they're just all in so much danger of dying. Rimgosu, one of those players up at the top, alongside Rubopusa, again, interestingly enough, at the top of a lobby together, getting Golden Taragosa as an option.
Yeah,
is that something
you want it?
You like at this point?
That's the question, right? Do you want an absolutely giant Taragosa, or were you happy with the 2 sort of good Taragosas you already had? Because the rest of his board is 1 poison amalgam and nothing else. So he decided on 27 he's got the time to go for this.
Very clutch Nadina. Poison Divine Shield amalgam we will happily take. Atramedes, really seeing it. Like there's the obvious anti-Divine Shield synergy, but
yeah, see what he chooses to do. It's not like he's got much of a board for this turn.
Yeah, nice. Man, this cooked book is actually getting pretty juicy as well. He's going to want to start cycling through these dragons at some point, because this sparring partner is already a pretty big upgrade over them.
Yeah, I mean, any dragon now with Nadina is going to be a big deal as they get bigger as well.
And Rimkadusa with this board, it's a real weird one. He does have, Golden Scallywag and more importantly, Golden Eliza, which is huge, of course. But it doesn't look like an overwhelmingly powerful board, right?
No, it really doesn't. Small poisons are not great early. They're obviously fine. They're poisons that can get bigger for you, but yeah. Compared to Crag, who's doing the same thing, just better on the other side.
Well, yeah, look at this. Golden Eliza of his own. Doubling down on the death rattle. It's a lot of stats, just needs to chew through the poisons and I guess not activate this Imp Mummer too many times. Like that. Perfect.
Okay.
And with that said,
oh.
we have our first fatality of the lobby. Yunchang on Murloc Holmes.
Zixo's starting to really get this board together now.
What was Yunchang going for? Man, he was also going for Taragosa. So many players going for the Taragosa strats in this lobby, but his was just significantly smaller than both Rimgosu and Sesase.
Yeah, adding the healths together on this one poison Murloc to sort of just make it absolutely nutty.
Kind of a tough choice here without Bran. Again, Begurgle is good, obviously, for like +10/+10 or whatever, but not an insta-pick without thinking about it, you know?
Yeah. See where this poison goes. He's going to keep it about fine.
Yeah, I guess it is a good poison target because the Swolefin with poison at this point is obviously not irrelevant, but much less impactful.
Yeah, he needs it right now because he's on 1 health. I think he'd like to have held on to it for a bigger target later. Yeah, build some things up with the staff, but just really doesn't have time. Just needs to win a couple of fights. He could win the lobby, but I don't think he will because he has got a couple of decent minions here. But there's a lot of good stuff going on in this lobby, especially if him goes to look at the state of this.
Yeah, obviously looking to start beefing up these stats with the cooked book. Not sure how big it is, but I'm guessing it's at least like +15, +16 or so at this point.
Him goes to one of the first players we were told to sort of show multi-server action to the Korean audience. One of the first players to play Warrior Curve in Korea as well. And is expected in a new meta to do well, apparently. That's kind of his thing. One of those innovative players who, comes first, second, 7, 8 kind of XQN style, if you like. Okay. And is also one of those players who just looks at a new set and just goes, yeah, I got this, I'll be fine.
One of those players who also put Zixo in a pretty scary position. All these Divine Shields just making quick work of those small poison minions on the other side. And try as he might, get so close to finishing them off, but the clutch Nadina, just too powerful as Rim goes, who sends our second player out of the lobby in Zixo to be joined by no others, it seems. Everyone else just holding on in there. Very paltry health totals.
Yeah, that will irritate Zixo, not just because Zixo's easily irritated, but because I think he just got to the point where he could expect to sort of finish 4th or 5th with that. He'd stabilised, he had decent stuff going on, and just ran into a tough match. But there's a lot of tough matchups here.
And at least
almost aboard.
So close to making this work now. He's got the golden Eliza, so Tony, I guess, can be discarded at this point. Not really necessary all too much anymore. But without the golden, without golden Baron, there's not an obvious upgrade right now. Like Khadgar is okay, but you'd have to lose some board spaces to make it work, which makes you a lot flimsier.
I mean, Tony is a pirate, I guess, for your...
Yeah.
Lose the Observer at this point, maybe? The Observer, the Overseer. Don't want to lose Sottle. I've only been getting that wrong all weekend, and it's never going to stop being wrong now.
I mean, yours does make sense. It has like 7 eyes. If there's one thing it can do, it's observe.
Exactly. Overseer, Observer. There's not much difference. An Overseer is just a more sinister sort of Observer, right?
I guess. All right, well, let's see if Alicia's hand strategy to hold off for the moment, not commit too hard into the full Scallywag scam combo. Oh, he's going to need a lot of stats against all this Divine Shield statage on the Taragosa.
Does have time on his side as well, though, with 35 health. So this comp doesn't look near complete, but looking at his hand, he's got nearly a Golden Selfless, nearly a Golden Baron, Khadgar waiting to go in the wings. Shouldn't take too much damage most turns because he's got a good enough board.
Yep.
Survive.
Need to see even poison into Taragosa. Yeah, we've got it.
Whoa. And if he's winning already against that tough board, he could end up completing the full Exodia, which I think is pretty much unbeatable if you do get it. As SSA, we see they're going out in 6th.
Yep, Torisan taking it down on Denathrius once again, going for a lot more all-in on the Dragons comp, actually, I think, than a lot of the other players. Still with, of course, that Divine Shield of Taragosa that every player in this lobby feels like they're going for, but with more of a leaning towards Kalagos, sorry, as well, in order to beef up those stats, which is going to be much needed because
I just want to know how Alex is still alive.
Was looking pretty big, but now it's gone. Okay.
Yeah. Alex, like we saw 3 turns ago, held that Cyclone in hand and must have held it for a while because it was big on the left we just saw there. And just still alive. And you look at that board compared to all the other things we're seeing, it's like just a ton of garbage that he's just had to keep together to get the job done. He's doing really well, sneaking his way into 5th place at least. And now he's got the Ghost as well. Osan. Lacking chances to make much progress here, so just going to have to do the old-fashioned Kali, build my things up. But
just spam battle cries, pretty simple.
Yeah, agree.
He's getting some good ones, though, you know, Murazond, Uther. These actually have positive effects on the game.
The question now is, do you want to just waste your Smogger and maybe even your Toxic just to get some numbers on the board this turn? The answer is yes. He's on 8 health. Wasting 2 gold and 2 great battle cries just for some extra numbers because it's so important he doesn't die here.
Yeah, I'm missing out on Red Hand. He could have sold and bought into the Anil and Battlemaster, but I guess the extra stats on this stat more than make up for that.
It's turn 13. He's decided that people are going to start dying and just surviving turn 13. That's it. If he can survive this turn, he'll get so many points for survival. And he also knows what he's against is pretty rough.
Yeah.
Tried.
Absolutely no shot. And, you know, you can respect his play. He knows his opponents are going for the same kind of thing as him with Divine Shield of Taragosa, so he sells his own.
Wait, that was 3rd place.
Wow.
Alex has died to the Ghost. After all that survival and limping up the ladder, I thought he crept into 3rd. Riverpoose is just getting absolutely murdered by Crag, who has gone full Exodia, by the way. That Khadgar was on the board there.
Oh, my God.
And somebody else
dying that round. I was not prepared for that. What on earth?
So we have large dragons versus Exodia here. Depends how complete the Exodia is, but my money's usually on Exodia in these situations.
All right, so counters to Exodia, Lorinda, if you're ready to hear them. Void Lord, so I hear, can counteract the Scallywag because its attack is too low, so the Scallywag will not die, and therefore there is no board space.
Correct, I like it. And these are particularly large Scallywags.
They are big.
Well. Yeah. So they are very counterable.
Are there any others that we could potentially be looking for to counteract this?
I've got all my default answers. Acolyte, no longer in the game. I mean, the answer is yes, but springing to mind, I can't think what they are. But anything you can give taunt to that is small?
Like Tunnel Blaster? I mean, it's like roughly the same shape as Void Lord, or is that a bit weirder?
The trouble is that might blow up the Scallies if you're not careful, which causes a problem. Yeah, Rock, thank you. Imprisoner, here we go. Sottel's rattling them off for me. Appreciate it. Yeah, anything small and taunty.
All and taunty. Not
no,
found,
this is
though.
small and taunty.
Just relied on brawn. I like it. No messing around with tech cards. Let's punch him in the face as it's just Clash of the Titans right now. Whose comp can make more stats?
So no Golden Baron is one of the big deals here.
All right, no board space going second
Right.
for Alicia San is a little unfortunate. Oh, okay, it's taunted, it's fine.
Oh yeah, this is nowhere near enough at the moment. Needs to get that golden baron. I say nowhere near enough.
Yeah.
It's large. It's close, but yeah, the poison's going to wipe things out. The large Taragosa is going to wipe things out.
You can take out Leroy or the Poison Divine Shield, but I don't think either is quite possible.
Mantic
Getting a lot of good
beasts,
hits, though.
Yeah, the Mantic
Divine
might
Shield's
help.
going down. Oh, it is close. Yeah, gets the tie. Damn.
Yeah,
Good hits.
gives him more time to find that golden baron.
Yeah.
Mantic doing the job there.
But like we say, it's more time for Rimgosu to find the counters, right? He's just going to roll straight through for it. There's the Imprisoner, there's the Molten Rock. Yeah, if you want them. They're the baby versions of the counter, not the full Void Lord shebang that you want. Especially as they've positioned in a way so that their Selfless Hero goes first. So you need a taunt that gives a taunt to be 100% safe, right?
I mean, the taunt he has is actually big enough to survive one hit as well at the moment. Just because those were so big, I think. For the Scallies to survive hitting it.
Right. Oh, okay. Yeah,
Way to word it. Because it's actually, they're like got 10 health, I think, those Scallies, from memory.
I think it's 1/6 and 110, but
110 and 1/6, yeah.
yeah, it's all about positioning, because if you put the Selfless Hero first, you can of course attack in if you go first. And then it takes out the taunt.
Maths time. Do you want the Divine Shield or do you want the Khadgar? Yeah, he's going for super Khadgars here.
Okay, I respect.
Now going to try and roll for the Baron. If he finds the Baron, I think he's in a great spot. But if he doesn't, maybe not so much. And now, of course, the taunt outs aren't so good because, you know, both Scallies got taunt, nothing else has taunt. They're going to die anyway now, blah, blah, blah. So suddenly that defense isn't quite as good.
Oh no, of course the cooked books. What am I talking about? The Void Lord would have been too big anyway. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Apologies,
West
I'm being a
sixes.
dum-dum. Yeah.
No, we're both back in old school mode because it's double Cali versus Exodia. Like,
Yeah,
it's a quest
exactly.
anyway, don't it?
Yeah. No, that's totally my bad. Apologies.
No, I'm sat here too. I think it's fine because who expects this today? Yeah, this is still, for me, the most powerful comp in the game, apart from maybe full-blown Leapers.
If you
But
can get it, yeah.
it's so hard to get this comp, but when you get it, look how powerful it is. Like, nothing's standing in the way of this.
Yeah, absolutely nothing. It's just too much.
And what was interesting here was how, when he was sort of building this comp, he didn't panic. He kept a lot of the pieces in his hand. And we saw him beating, I think, this exact opponent way when he sort of wasn't anywhere near having the full comp built. He just had, I think it was one of the Khadgars, he had a Tony on the board, he had the Eliza, he had the Manted Queen and some bits and bobs just chilling.
Yeah.
Took his time to transition slowly into this comp, and yeah, now he's just winning the lobby. First one of the day, picking up those 7 points.
Yeah, love to see it from Alicia San, relying a lot more, for once it feels like, on a classic comp. Like, instead of hodgepodging something together with quests, as most players have been going for, which has generally been strong enough to win you lobbies. In this instance, we are just seeing the classic Scallywag combo, which, honestly, I didn't even know if that would hold up in today's metagame with so many high-tempo quests knocking them out in the mid-game. I think that, for me, was the real genius of that game plan, was being able to survive all the way through with such clever pickups along the way to survive until that point, with the Selfless Heroes being such a key component.
Yeah, very nicely done. Even at the end there, like you say, with the Selfless, just not willing to go crazy on the comp until the very last minute. That Manted Queen doing so much work in the penultimate fight there. And yeah, Alicia San taking a first one of the day. Like, it's just great. We've talked about how you don't see many traditional comps. There were 2 of them there.
Yeah, exactly.
That in itself is a rarity right now. I don't think that's a pattern we'll see continue. I do think Exodia will win every time we see it built, but I don't think we'll see it built enough. It's like, this was an exceptionally powerful lobby and people seem to get their quests done exceptionally quickly. Whether that's because players are getting better like this patch is only 5 days old or something, or whether it's just because that's how that lobby panned out. Not quite sure. Have to wait and see.
Yeah, just interesting to see as well how Taragosa crazy everyone seemed to go in that lobby. Like, obviously, some players were just sort of forced into it. We saw AFK and SSA getting double Taragosa off the Discover. Sure, you're going to make that work in some way. We saw the Dragons from Torisan actually ending up throwing away a giant Taragosa at some point because he just needed more attack on the board and the effects of the Atramedes. But, you know, always interesting to see that the way these lobbies work out, where sometimes you're just given a bunch of Selfless or Nadinas or whatever, and Taragosa became a super strong mid-game stabilizer, even if players couldn't capitalize on it to turn it into a win.
Yeah, it does seem to have been something that, certainly you asked me about it yesterday, I was like, yeah, Taragosa's okay, but it's looking like more and more a go-to card for a lot of the players. The quests do interact with it, as you mentioned at the start of the show. Just lots of little ways to make it big. Rather than making it the cornerstone of your build, you just put it in there and it builds itself. Kind of obvious, really, when you read the card. But yeah, look at this. Comp now.
Mesmerized, dude. It's just so much stuff. So beautiful.
Like, in the days of, say, Nagas, like, a load of 1990s, 100s being built by this comp wouldn't necessarily even be enough. Not every time. But now, you don't have opponents with bunches of 300s anymore. It's just not a thing that happens anymore. So a whole army of 100s and plus some 30s smacking into you along the way, that's just enough now to get things done.
And would you look at that, we end up with a very interesting breakdown in terms of points. Alicia Rimgosu taking down first and second place. Yunchang, Zixo, and SSA, interestingly enough, who I thought was doing pretty well in that lobby, finishing in 8th, 7th, and 6th. But then 3 players all at 4 points with a pretty harsh drop-off down to 2 points for SSA. So while it is still obviously, as we could say, at any point, anybody's game here, interesting to see how SSA, Zixo, and Yunchang will start to turn up the heat. And as you say, try to close down that 20 points within 5 lobbies now, I think is like a reasonable thing for them to aim for. Even if it's starting to look a little ambitious for Yunchang at 0 points after the first lobby.
And the roller coaster of emotion Alex went through in that particular round too. Like, looked like you're going to come 8th. Gets into the top 5, fights the ghost. Like, yeah, I'm going to get even more up there. 2 people die, and then so do you. It's like, yeah, we offered it a few turns ago. He'd have been delighted, but nearly scammed his way into 3rd place from nowhere. Overall, he'll be happy. But, yep, 4 points for Alex, and we'll have to wait and see how this develops after the next couple. But one thing's for sure, if you're going to get to 20 points quickly, Alicia-san is the one who obviously is in position to do so.
Indeed. So let's see whether or not he can capitalize on that strong performance in our first lobby with game number 2 after this break.